Alright, Crash. Let's see if we can focus. Tell me a story.
I only know the one story. The Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time there was an old mother pig who had 3 little pigs and not enough food to feed them. So when they were old enough, she sent them out into the world to seek their fortunes. The first little pig was very lazy. He didn't want to work at all and he built his house out of straw. The second little pig worked a little bit harder, but he was somewhat lazy too, and he built his house out of sticks. They both finished their houses very quick, and then they sang and danced and played together for the rest of the day. Now, the third little pig worked hard all day and built his house with bricks. It was a sturdy house complete with a fine fireplace and chimney. The next day, a wolf happened to pass by where the 3 little pigs were living. Now he saw a straw house, and he smelled the pig inside. He thought to himself that the pig would make a mighty fine meal. So the wolf knocked on the door and said, little pig, let me in." But the little pig saw the wolf's big paws through the keyhole, so he answered back, "No, no, no, not by the hairs on our chinny chin chin." So the wolf showed his teeth and said,
They printed 2 of them.
"Then I'll puff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." So he puffed and he puffed and he blew the house down. The wolf opened his jaws very wide and bit down as hard as he could, but the first little pig escaped and ran away to hide with the second little pig. The wolf continued down the lane and he passed by the second house made of sticks.
I gotta change the code so that it continues to draw the eyes while it's telling the story.
And his mouth began to water as he thought about the fine dinner they would make. So the wolf knocked on the door and said, little pig, let me in." But the little pigs saw the wolf's pointy ears through the keyhole, so they answered back, "No, no, no, not by the hairs on our chinny chin chin." So the wolf showed his teeth and said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down."
I lost my analog input.
So he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down. The wolf was greedy and he tried to catch both pigs at once. But he was too greedy and got neither. His big jaws clamped down on nothing but air, and the 2 little pigs scrambled away as fast as their little hooves would carry them. The wolf chased them down the lane and he almost caught them, but they made it to the brick house and slammed the door closed before the wolf could catch them.
Green LED,
the 3
man.
little pigs, they were very frightened. They knew the wolf wanted to eat them, and that was very, very true. The wolf hadn't eaten all day, and he had worked up a large appetite chasing the pigs around, and now he could smell all 3 of them inside. And he knew that the 3 little pigs would make a lovely feast. So the wolf knocked on the door and said, little pig, let me in." But the little pigs saw the wolf's arrow eyes through the keyhole, so they answered back, "No, no, no, not by the hairs on our chinny chin chin." So the wolf showed his teeth and said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." Well, he huffed and he puffed, he puffed and he huffed, and he huffed and he puffed, but he could not blow his house down. At last, he was so out of breath that he couldn't huff and he couldn't puff anymore. So he stopped to rest and thought a bit.
Yeah.
The hunger was too much.
One of my wires came unsoldered. That's why this LED quit working.
The little pigs for his supper. But while he was climbing onto the roof, the 3rd little pig made up a blazing fire and put on a big pot full of water to boil. But then, just as the wolf was coming down the chimney, the little piggy pulled off the lid, and plop, in fell the wolf into the scalding water. So the little piggy put on the cover again, boiled
gotta
the
fix
wolf
that
up,
solder joint.
and the 3 little pigs ate him for supper.
It literally came unhooked right there. while I was manhandling it and moving it around. Yeah, so that is obnoxious. Lip lights for when he talks. Thought that was kind of cool.